Welcome back to the Magnolia Shine podcast. It's getting cold outside here in Mississippi. You know what that means? That means it's time for some good football. We're entering the final stretch of the regular season. It is week 10. I'm your host, Charles Williams, alongside the one and only Blake Levine. Blake, it's that time of year where we're actually seeing playoff spots get confirmed and solidified. And we got some big matchups this week.
Yeah, some district titles. Who's going to be the two? Who's going to be the three? Who's just going to slip in and be the 4 seed? 1 through 4A. This is their final week. I mean, this is it for them. 5A, 6A, 7A. Obviously, they got 2 more weeks to kind of solidify where they're going to be. But for 1A and 4 through 4A, this is it. This is your last chance, and your seeding matters, right? I mean, that's the difference between
It
home and
does.
away games. And usually the number one team in each district. I mean, it could be the difference in an extra round depending on where you seed.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So, listen, let's go ahead and hop into it. Poplarville and Columbia. We'll just go ahead and start there. All right, listen, the Poplarville Hornets, of course, have lost a region game. They lost to Macomb earlier in the season. Columbia is a perfect 9-0 overall. Listen, this matchup will be hosted by Columbia. Columbia's coming off a week where they kind of had a tough game against South Pike. South Pike gave them a good challenge there. Blake, listen, I might go ahead and start off shocking you. I'm going to go ahead and pick Poplarville for this game. I think Columbia takes their
Don't
first.
don't maybe shock me. Don't maybe shock me.
No, listen, I will absolutely shock you. I'm going to pick
Okay.
Poplarville to win this game. Now, it would, like, the thing is, it would be shocking just because Columbia's been so dominant in 4A, and they're still my favorites for the 4A champion. But I think week 10 might be the time that they take a loss, especially to a Poplarville team with that effective of a run game. I mean, my goodness. And we've seen from Ty Keys this year, he's been so impressive. I think that Poplarville would be the team to beat him in the regular season. I'm taking the Hornets in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take Columbia. I'm going to take the chalk. Obviously, Columbia's favored. You talk about where the game's played and all that.
Yeah.
I think for me, Poplarville's defense just, while it's gotten better as the season's gone, it's just, I don't know how it's going to contain Columbia. And Columbia's putting up 30, 40 points a
Yeah.
game, themselves. And we don't even talk about Columbia's offense, really. I mean, yet it's really good. Would I be shocked if Poplarville won? I'd be a little shocked. I wouldn't be like, whoa. I'd be like, oh, wow, that's an upset. But I think Columbia is just the better football team at this moment. However, I will say this. With Poplarville being able to play Macomb and Columbia early in the year, let's say they lose both of those games. Part of me thinks, the next time they play, maybe I might switch my pick. We're talking about the defending champs here, ready for playoff time.
That
So
is true.
I don't think I'm going to take Columbia with the idea that if these teams meet again, I may be thinking a little bit differently.
Yeah, listen, that'll be an interesting game though. Poplarville and Columbia. That game will be hosted by Columbia. Blake's got Columbia. I've got Poplarville in that ball game. Then we see from this region here in 5A that we've talked about a lot of times because we've got multiple teams in there that are interesting teams to look at. We got Vicksburg and Holmes County Central. All right, so this game's going to be hosted in Holmes County. These two teams are going to play each other. This is the same region that Lanier and Cleveland Central and Florence are in. And if you think about it, one of those 5 teams aren't going to make it. Provine's not going to make the playoffs, and that's the last team
Yeah,
in
but
that region. But
Lanier and Cleveland Central should be good. I assume that this
they're going to
game it
play.
might be the dip. Right. I think this is the game, right? That who's going to be five.
Oh, you talking about the Vicksburg Holmes County Central? Yeah, it very
Well, I
well.
guess
Yeah,
I guess Florence could
Florence.
still be in that. Yeah, right. Florence, but Florence that upset changed a lot for them.
It did. But Vicksburg beating Florence just that made them be in there as well. It's just a crazy region. So
Which,
this is
by the
a
way, that makes this game so important because
it
although it
does.
doesn't necessarily make you the 5 seed, it forces you to have to win next week.
It does. But if you win this week, you'll be able to get in either way, whether
You're
you're
right.
Holmes County Central or Vicksburg. I've got Holmes County Central. I picked Vicksburg last week in their game. In their game last week against Cleveland Central. I don't. I think Holmes County Central is going to be ready to go. I think the Jaguars are going to beat Vicksburg. They're playing it at home, and I don't see Holmes County finding themselves on the outside looking in the playoff picture. I don't think that that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I'm going to take Holmes County here. Although I will say Vicksburg's a lot better this year than they were last year. You know, if you remember how tough it was for them last year,
That's
I
right.
did they win one game? It was like 1-0. It was something really bad last year, and they're a
Yeah.
lot better this year. But they're still one step away from being, a playoff team. So I'm going to take Holmes County.
Yeah, and then we're staying in the same region. We're going to go ahead and talk Lanier and Cleveland Central. Now, Blake, you foreshadowed earlier in the week that you might be leaning towards Cleveland Central. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I wasn't gonna lie to you. Yeah, I'm gonna take Cleveland Central this game. There's been a lot of cross beating in this region,
That's
except
right.
for one team, which is Lanier, right? The only team that hasn't lost. And they beat Holmes County, they beat Florence, but I think people are kind of overthinking this idea that Florence had them on the ropes because they fell down so much early that they really beat them for the second half. I mean, it was a tough game for them to finish out. I think Cleveland Central gets it done this week, in which case Brandon Shields is going to have to try to figure out who's going to, like, how the tiebreakers are going to work for this region. Because if Cleveland Central wins this game and Holmes County beats Vicksburg. I don't know how the heck this format is going to work because everyone's just beating everybody. So I kind of rooting for the chaos. Cleveland Central's going to win it, and they're going to create chaos of tiebreakers.
Yeah, no, that sure would happen if Cleveland Central wins the game. Listen, Cleveland Central's hosting the game, and Lanier is 9-0, have been looking very good, but this seems like the natural time that a loss would come. I agree with you on that, but I'm sticking with the Lanier Bulldogs. I'm going to pick Lanier to win this game. I'm gonna be pulling for them to go 10-0 here, but I will say this: wouldn't surprise me if Cleveland Central won the football game because Cleveland Central's a great team and this region has just been chaotic. But I got Lanier winning this football game. So moving on to the next game, we got Brandon and Pearl, and this is setting up to be a big one, folks. Before the season, you would have thought that, okay, Brandon is here and Pearl's here, all right? But right now, they're here, okay? And listen, the team that loses is not looking good in terms of playoffs.
The team that loses, right? So Oak Grove and Petal are in.
That's right.
If Pearl beats Brandon, that would put Brandon possibly, depending on the tiebreakers, out, right?
Yeah, and of course they would have another game. Brandon would.
I think they played Meridian the final week.
That's right. Oh, so that's just assuming that they're going to win that game. But this is such a huge game. Such a huge game.
It could be the playoffs for one of these teams. I mean, I think Pearl is the last one out. I think, well, yeah, because Northwest Rankin beat Pearl, so I think that would be it. Or does Pearl play Northwest Rankin the final week? See, now you got me all messed up. But either way,
Pearl has already played. Pearl has already played Northwest Rankin, if I'm not mistaken. Well, right now, according to this, I've got I got Pearl at 2-1 in region. I'm looking at the max preps right now. I got them at 2-1 in the region. According to this, it's looking like that they're all tied with Northwest Rankin, Petal, and Oak Grove in terms of record. But I don't.
Yeah, because they beat Meridian.
That's right. And beat Meridian and
that's
Petal.
Kind of
yeah.
Right. Okay, my pick. I'm taking Brandon. The ship's not going down yet. The ship's not going down. It's just not. Pearl could totally win this game. I mean, I'm taking Brandon just because I'm taking Brandon by name only. But I don't feel good about it, but I'm taking him.
Well, look, I know that I'm jumping ship. I'm sorry. Like I picked them as my title favorite going into the season. but I've watched how this season's played out, and listen, I don't feel too good about it. 3-5
Yeah.
record, and it's just like it looks like they can't really score the football. And the thing about Pearl is that they were able to beat Petal last week, and Petal's in a better position than Brandon is, and it was 21-14, so Pearl didn't have to score a whole lot. But I think if Pearl scores 21 points tomorrow night, I think they're going to win the football game. Just
Yeah, that's
how this
interesting,
is,
right? Right.
just
All
how
they got to do is score 21.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm going with the Pirates, and I'm taking the Pearl Pirates at beating Brandon here, and that would rock Rankin County, I'm sure.
Oh man, and the Northwest Rankin Brandon game was 3-0. I don't want people to forget that.
No, that is right. But the thing is, Brandon can play defense, so we'll have to see what happens. But then we're heading down to the coast now. We got Gulfport and D'Iberville. Gulfport 6-2, D'Iberville 7-1. D'Iberville's loss was to Ocean Springs, so they have a region loss. Gulfport, even though they've lost 2 games, they've lost no region games. This game's going to be hosted by the Indians in D'Iberville, and I'm taking Gulfport. I just, by the way the Admirals have been playing, they've just brought the buzzsaw to the region, and I think they continue it against D'Iberville here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling really good about Gulfport. I told you that I think they're a title contender at this point. Their
Yeah,
running
for
back
sure.
is really good. Division I football player. I really love their quarterback. I think they got a lot of different tools to them, and they're playing inspired. They got a coach that's won a bunch at Ocean Springs. Maybe didn't win the big one, but won a bunch. And now he's at Gulfport, and I think it's year 3, and now he's got them looking like what Ocean Springs was looking like. You know, in recent years. So yeah, I like everything about Gulfport. I think Gulfport wins this game. D'Iberville, really solid team. I mean, I think because D'Iberville is going to be the 3 seed. Whoever that 2 seed is, whether it's Oak Grove, which I think, or Petal, it's going to be one of those two. That's not an easy first round game. That's a heck of a
It's
first
not.
round game.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm so excited about the playoffs. I think they're going to be so
Oh,
interesting.
so good.
We got Madison Central taking on Starkville. All right. And Madison Central is in a desperate situation. They need a win here. They need a win here against Starkville. And I don't think they're going to get it. I got the Yellow Jackets winning the game. Starkville's hosting the game. I think Starkville's playing some of their best football right now. And I think they're ready for the playoffs. I think they're ready this stretch of the season. And I got the Yellow Jackets beating Madison Central and putting them on the ropes here.
So the same way that you were talking about, Pearl just has to score X amount of points. Madison's offense just has not put it together for 4 straight quarters. They have spurts
Yeah.
where they start to put up some points, but if you really look at their season, it's the lack of points that have killed them. Whether it was the Brookhaven game, whether it was the Oxford game, whether it was the Germantown game, finally putting up 21 points, but then not scoring for a long stretch to end that game and allowing Germantown to come back. Starkville scores 3-4 touchdowns. I mean, this is that it's a wrap. So I'm running with Starkville.
Yeah, listen, if you would have not picked Starkville, I'd have been like, now what's going on here?
No, 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 no.
Listen, you
Look, I mean,
you have a
look,
six and
but
two
Madison
record picking
could win the
Starkville.
game. I mean, right? But Madison could win the game. I mean, I wouldn't be like,
Yeah,
whoa, how did this happen? No, 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 no. It's more of Starkville just has to play a B plus game, B game, and they should win this game at home.
yes, and just like you said last week, it's really the region looks like it's going to come down to Madison Central and Clinton. Of course, if Madison Central wins this game, they're going to be able to get in, or they'll be in a
No,
very
no, no,
good
no,
position.
no. I don't think it matters anymore
What do you
because
mean?
because if because Madison would have what? And they would have a Murrow win, a
That's right.
Starkville win, and then 2 losses, right? So they'd be 2 and
That's right.
2.
That's right.
With Clinton being 1 and 3. If Clinton beats Madison, they each are 2 and 3, but who has the tiebreaker?
Well, yeah. Well, Clinton would. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So my point being is that this win does not mean that they're in.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's now gone to the
That's right.
point where whether Clinton wins, Madison loses, they both lose, they both win, one win, right? It does not matter. The game next week is the only thing that's going to matter for these two.
That's right. Of course, Madison Central. Oh, that's right. I see. So
You see
this
what I'm
game,
saying, right?
I see.
Like
So
this
either
game does not mean anything. This game does not mean anything for the playoffs at all for Madison. For Starkville, it means something, but for Madison, it means absolutely zero. Starkville, it just
that
is about
is.
seeding for them.
Oh, that's true. That's true because either way for Clinton or Madison Central, that's interesting there.
The winner of next
Um,
week is it. Right. That's how the tiebreaker is going to work. It doesn't matter if one has a 1 game
that's right.
lead if the other one beats them the next week.
That is true. However, if it does matter for seeding though, because if Madison Central wins this game and next week, they'll be 3-2, and they'll have beaten Starkville, which brings them down to 2-2. So they actually could get a better seed if they win this game.
I mean, unless Starkville then beats Oxford. But yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I
I
get what you're
got you.
saying.
I got you.
Yeah.
But so
Okay, go ahead.
it's interesting, but
I'm taking
that's
Starkville. I'm taking
insightful.
Starkville. Yes,
But
insightful. Yeah, you guys take that information and do what you need to do with it.
that's right. Hey, look, you tune into the Magnolia Shine podcast right here. You get some insight, okay? So hit that subscribe button. All right, we got Oak Grove and Northwest Rankin. Okay, this one will be hosted in Flowood. Northwest Rankin hosting Oak Grove. Oak Grove coming in at a 6-3 record. The Cougars 5-3. Oak Grove's look good. Oak Grove has done very well in region play, and I think they continue it. I just think they're the better team than Northwest Rankin. Northwest Rankin, if you look at their resume, teams that they've beaten by low margins that aren't the greatest of teams, but then they'll sneak around and get a good win here. You know, this is a team that's always competitive. And so I think that it's going to be a competitive game. I don't think Northwest Rankin's going to roll over and get beat down by Oak Grove. But I just don't see Northwest Rankin beating the Warriors here in this game. I think Oak Grove wins.
No, I think Oak Grove wins, but you talked about the chaos aspect, right? If Northwest Rankin wins this game, I mean,
Yeah, it'd
the amount of chaos,
be
the amount
wild.
of chaos that would start. It would be Petal at the 1 seed, which I think Petal, as long as they win out, is the 1 seed, anyways. But it would create so much chaos if that would happen. I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to just see all these teams in like a 4-way tiebreaker. It'd be kind of fun. But I'm taking Oak Grove. I think Oak Grove wins this game.
Yes, and then we got Lake Cormorant taking on Grenada. This is a game that you alluded to last week. Just because Grenada took that tough loss, or you alluded to it on Monday, Grenada took that tough loss to South Panola, so South Panola looking like they're going to be the number 1 seed in that region. And Lake Cormorant had taken a loss to South Panola as well. And so these two teams, this is pretty much a battle for the 2 seed in that region. And Grenada will be hosting the football game. They're both 6-2 entering the game. I looked at the resumes of these two teams, and what I came away with is I'm going with Lake Cormorant. I'm taking them over the
LC's good.
Chargers here.
LC's good. They're actually pretty good.
They're real good, and they've got 2 losses, and they're both by 1 score to very good teams. And so, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Grenada won, but I'm going with Lake Cormorant here.
I'm going with Grenada. I
Okay,
went with them last week. I'm rolling with them again this week. The loser of this game is on the road for their whole playoff time,
which is
right?
crazy.
Because you end up right. You're right. So LC or Grenada, Sally, just because they're in such a good district, they're on the road for the rest of the playoffs. The only way they would not be on the road is if South Panola lost the first round, which they're not going to lose to a 1-4. I don't see that happening. And or depending on which side gets the home game, if they're both same seed, the 3 seed on the other side starts doing some damage. It's not going to happen that way. So for this game, this is home field. For at least some games, and a possibility if there's some upsets, home field for a lot of the playoffs, or no home games at all. So this is a massive game. I'm rolling with Grenada. I'm rolling with the team that won it last year. Just losing last week, inspired, ready to go. But LC's a good football team. I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel good about Grenada.
Yes, so listen, and just imagine if Grenada loses this game, they'll be on the road throughout the playoffs, and this is the defending 6A champions overall. And so just goes to show you in high school football how things will change year to year and how big every week is of region play. And South Panola was not looking good at all from the beginning, and now they're going to be the number 1 seed. And so that's pretty crazy to look at there. We got Germantown and Clinton. Germantown 5-3. Clinton is 4-4. This game will be hosted by the Arrows. Clinton
A lot of
always.
7A matchups today. A lot of 7A matchups you picked.
Uh, we do. And listen, this week is a hard week to pick. We've got a lot of tough ones that are hard to call here. Now, Clinton always poses a good challenge. The Arrows, listen, last week was Oxford. They gave them a tough challenge. Clinton always is full of surprises, can bring the challenge. I think Germantown's playing the type of football that could take them all the way. And therefore, I think they're in a different stratosphere than Clinton is at this point in time. And I think the Mavericks are going to win this football game. I think they're playing inspired football. I think they're highly focused right now down the stretch of the season. And I got Germantown winning this football game. Another thing, too, is I don't think Clinton can keep up with them on the scoring because Germantown just scores so many points. I got the Mavericks winning this game.
Yeah. I'm taking Germantown as well. I just think their offense is really good. It's going to score on anybody, even if it gets shut down for a quarter and a half. At some point, it's going to get going, and you're going to have to score with them. Clinton, way better than we thought they were going to be, but this is just a tough spot. And then next week, obviously, when they play Madison, that's going to be for the playoffs.
That's right. So we both got Germantown there. This one, now we're heading into 6A. This is our last game we're picking this week. We got West Jones and Hattiesburg. Okay? And this game's going to be hosted by the Tigers. Now, we've seen region play develop so far for these teams. And West Jones, this region is three main teams in this region, okay? And we'll see how Terry does against George County tomorrow night. But West Jones and Terry played each other a couple weeks ago. West Jones won that game. Hattiesburg is yet to play Terry at this point. So this will be Hattiesburg's first big test in region play. I'm taking West Jones. I think West Jones has more talent. I also think they're a more balanced team. The thing is, Hattiesburg, I don't think they've been I wouldn't say that they've been prepared for this moment by they in terms of they've played easier competition the past few weeks. They have. West Jones, I feel like, has gotten tuned up for this moment. Hattiesburg has played Petal and Oak Grove, but they got dominated by both of those teams. Those are their 2 losses. Other than that, they've been beating teams that they're better than. I think that West Jones, with Tootie Lindsay as the quarterback, Chandler Watson over there as the wide receiver, I saw that connection. Connection's impressive. I like the offense. I think the defense isn't bad either. I got West Jones winning.
Yeah, I have West Jones as well, and I think it's kind of funny that you said, they have more talent. It's like, well, that's a weird thing to say, don't you think? You think about,
Well, with Tristan Keys over there, yeah, but
right, yeah, right. But I am gonna take West Jones. I just think that you said it really perfectly. I mean, you take the words out of my mouth. The balance aspect. And, the tougher games they've played. And although Hattiesburg played those tough games early, they weren't really competitive. So it's tough to say, how much they gained from games like that. However, I just think that, West Jones just has a better football team, top to bottom. So I'm rolling with them.
So listen, that wraps up our top 10 matchups here. And folks, look, gotta go to the running tally right now. Right now, Blake is sitting at a 64-30 record on picking games here. Pretty good. I'm at 52-42. I've had better weeks in recent weeks, and so I went under 500 at one point in time. Let's just be straight up.
No, but you're on fire.
I guess we'll have to see. This week might be tough. I mean, listen, we're all over the place this week, so we'll have to see what's going on here. But that's high school football this week. Blake, I want to ask you, like I do every week, what's the game that you're looking at that you're thinking this is Blake Levine's game of the week?
It's tough to say. I didn't pick it in my 10 that I did on TikTok because, people were like, how could you not put the Columbia and Poplarville game in, and I said, I like to spread it around the state a little bit, and Columbia. To me, I think Columbia is just going to win the game, and I think the majority picked that. I try to pick some games that are a little more 50-50, and I say that, and then Poplarville ends up winning, and I'm like, well, my bad. But again, I try to do my best here. I think that's a fantastic game. I think the Brandon Pearl game has to be the number one. I mean, we're talking about playoff lives of Brandon High School, a team that you picked for the title, and then it's the Eat Dirt rivalry, one of the best rivalries in the state, the best names, most heated, it will be packed. Pearl fans will be showing out because they know what's at stake, because in recent years it felt like Brandon was just
Yeah.
controlling this game, but I think Pearl fans are into this one because they're like, wow, okay, we got a shot here, and Brandon fans, they need the shot, so I think that has to be the game of the week.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. That was what I had in mind when I asked you the question. I mean, Brandon and Pearl. I just think that's. I think that the fan reaction to that's going to be something else. I feel like that game's just going to be completely packed. And listen, we'll see how that goes. That'll be Brandon and Pearl on Friday night. Another game that I'm looking at, obviously, being a little closer to this region, doing Terry games. West Jones and Hattiesburg would be so interesting to me. Because I think this is an opportunity to just see, okay, where are we now? We saw West Jones beat Terry, but it wasn't a blowout at all. It was a pretty good game. West Jones wins though, but then we have to see is West Jones going to hammer Hattiesburg? Is Hattiesburg going to beat West Jones, or is Hattiesburg going to come in and just lay it to West Jones? Who knows? This will
Yeah.
be a big game to kind of see where we are on that. And so that'll be interesting as well. So, folks, that's high school football, and there's a lot of games tonight, and then there are a lot of games obviously on Friday night. And so, listen, you gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. We'll be back on Monday to discuss the results. But now we're gonna hop into some college football. Okay, hopping into college football, and Blake, I'm hoping that this week will be the week where us as Bulldog fans get alleviated of our pain, because we're taking on Arkansas on the road. And come on, Blake, come on, Blake, you got to give it to us. You got to give it to us.
No,
We're about to break
why
our
have to give it to
SEC.
you?
No, we're about to break our SEC losing streak.
You know who's favored.
And
You
we're
know
going to
who's
beat
favored
Arkansas.
in the game.
Arkansas's favored in the game, and I think that's disrespectful. I find that to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying?
That's disrespectful to a team that has lost 16 straight conference games to be an underdog on the road.
Well,
That's disrespectful.
Here's the thing. Arkansas's been getting smoked.
No, they
Got
haven't.
smoked left
They
and
lost
right.
to Texas A&M by one. They
They
went
did lose
shot
by
for shot
Texas
with
A&M by
Ole
one.
Miss. They went shot for shot with Ole Miss in the first half. It was touchdown after touchdown. Arkansas's got one of the best offenses in the country. Blake Shapen's going to have to put up 30 plus points.
But the thing is, here's the thing. All right, we're already starting off hot. Okay, but the thing is, Mississippi State's offense has been doing well. It's really about winning the football games in the end.
Do you think that Texas game lingers? You don't think that Texas game lingers at all?
No, here's why. I gotta say this is one thing about this Mississippi State team that I've been impressed with, is that, listen, it's been 4 straight losses now, and every week they're coming back.
It's been 16. It's been 16 straight losses in conference.
Okay, I'm talking about straight losses week by week. All right, man. Look, they lost to Tennessee, then coming into the Texas A&M game on the road, tough environment, they came in doing well in that game. Then they come into Florida, and they start off doing well in that game. Then they come into Texas, and they start off blazing hot. I think that they're going to come out the same way they've been coming out. I think they're going to do well at the beginning. The concern I have is if we go up, I'm going to be almost guaranteed that there's going to be a comeback. And that's where I'm concerned, is how we finish this football game. But as far as the lingering from the Texas game, I actually do think we have a team that resets pretty well entering into game week. But who knows? That game could have broken this team. But I'm hoping not. I'm taking
Arkansas for all the other reasons, which is Arkansas's got, again, they have an interim coach. I know it's Bobby Petrino, but They're playing loose. They got no pressure on them. Mississippi State feels pressure. It's amazing for a team that's lost 16 straight to feel pressure, but that's Jeff Lebby and the situation he's in as the head coach and trying to still get this first conference win.
Yeah, it's tough because here's the thing: is that obviously we disagree on this. I don't think that Jeff Lebby should be fired at all. But if he doesn't win any conference games at all this year, there's a conversation. You know what I mean? There's a conversation.
What conversation? If you're 0-16 in conference play your first 2 years, in
I
today's
just
world where you can bring in players like free agency every year.
yeah, I hear you, but the thing is, you go from being. I know this sounds crazy, because listen, this has been a crazy season. I've never seen a season like this. I've been a Mississippi State fan my whole life. I've never seen a season like this. Every team that's that talented that I've seen and that competitive, they do win a football game, like a SEC football game, or maybe at least two, maybe even three.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yes.
seen anything like
Unless,
this.
right. When you have that talent,
Yeah,
it becomes coaching.
yeah. I mean, but here's the thing though. The coach also brings in the talent, so you got to give him credit for that as well. Here's the thing though. Is like I mean that's a part of it. That's a part of the game as well. You go from being a non-competitive 0-8 to if you go 0-8 this year, which would just be horrible. You're you're a competitive crazy 0-8. I would say this: you have one more. I think you get. I think you get one more year.
That doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right, but I will say I've watched this season, and I'm floored by what I've seen. I can't believe this team hasn't won an SEC game. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense to watch it. But here's the thing: moving forward, I don't think they're going to lose all their SEC games this year. Right now, they're 0-4. They still have 4 more games, and they got Arkansas this week. But here's the thing, though, is that if you win an SEC game or you win 2 SEC games, the firing Jeff Lebby talk is absolutely not going to happen whatsoever.
Well,
Like,
they're
there's
not
no
winning.
chance.
They're not winning two. They're not winning two because if you look at the rest of their schedule, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I definitely don't think they'll beat Georgia. And Ole Miss is a way better football team than Mississippi State is, but it's the Egg Bowl. But then you got Missouri, which I mean, Missouri, they're in the same category as the Texases and the
Yeah, and I
Tennessees.
guess they're missing. I guess they're missing their quarterback. So we'll see what happens.
Well, anyway, we're talking about this game. I got Mississippi State winning this game, but
And
I
I have
know that doesn't.
Arkansas.
Yeah. You have Arkansas. Okay, Mississippi State and Arkansas will be on Saturday, and we're hoping to see a little bit of a change in fortune here. All right, so now we got South Carolina and Ole Miss. All right, and I think Ole Miss is just gonna absolutely beat the mess out of South Carolina. I think this is a complete
South
blowout.
Carolina's not bad, but South Carolina's not bad. But it
Yeah,
feels like they emptied their tank against Alabama. And do they have 2 straight weeks of going against top 10 opponents and taking them down to the wire? And this one's
yeah.
obviously in Oxford this time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. I think you go through all that, and then you take on Ole Miss on the road. And this is another thing too. Ole Miss fans are going to be there, and they're going to be about it because Ole Miss
They
hasn't played
should
at
be
home in a
there.
while.
They should, right? They should be there, and they should stay all 4 quarters.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is that like they haven't played at home in a long time, so I think that the fans will be ready to see their rebels who are, one loss, top 10 team, really looking good. I think Ole Miss wins this game by a lot of points, actually. But then, so
Yeah, I don't know if
now,
it's a lot. Yeah, I don't know if it's a lot, but I agree with you
yeah,
with the Ole Miss.
yeah. No, I'm going the extra step, saying that I think they're going to beat the mess out of them. And I know that might sound crazy because Ole Miss, I don't think they've had any blowout wins in SEC. I think that every game they've won has been a pretty competitive game. And they even had a competitive game against Washington State. I don't think they're trying to
Yeah.
do that kind of thing again. I think this will be the time
Well,
that
I
Ole
mean,
Miss
look,
finally.
yeah, but they've won by a touchdown or more in most of them, right? I mean, you got 9 points against Kentucky, 7 to 9 points, something like that. Oklahoma was 8 points. I mean, it's not like they're winning by a field goal here. I mean, it's not a blowout, but they're winning the games, And
Well,
then
no,
Arkansas, obviously, the second half of Arkansas, they controlled them defensively. So I don't know.
To be clear, my prediction is like 45-21. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like, I think they're going to beat them pretty good. So, Southern Miss has a bye this week, and it's good times in Hattiesburg. Go from 1-11 to where they are now. I don't have the record in front of me, but I think it's
6-2.
6-2. Yeah, no. Listen, what a turnaround. What a turnaround right there. But anyway, they have a bye. Jackson State heading to take on Florida A&M in this ball game. And listen, Jackson State coming off that Grambling loss. Blake, what are your thoughts on this one? The thing is that I think Jackson State's going to win this football game, but the problem though is now you have an uneasy feeling here. Coming off of a loss, you got to come back stronger.
Yeah, you control your destiny, but at the same time, you're one loss away. You were two losses away from having an issue. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough game. I mean, it's at FAMU. The fan bases do not like each other. They're really funny on social media against each other. I do think Jackson State wins this game. I think they rebound just like Grambling last year. I think they're gonna then win out and win the Celebration Bowl after losing to Grambling. Like that seems to be the benchmark, time in their season where they really hit their stride, and maybe this reset them with all the love they've been getting. So I'm going to take Jackson State, but this FAMU team, not bad, maybe not as special as they've been recently, but still not a bad football team, and it's on the road in Tallahassee. So, but I like Jackson State here.
Yeah, so that'd be Jackson State and Florida A&M. We appreciate you guys watching right here on the Magnolia Shine podcast. Check out our Facebook page, Magnolia Shine podcast. You want to check that out? That kind of keeps you abreast of everything that's going on across Mississippi, sports-wise, whether that's high school or college, or even some notable stories about guys who've made it to the highest levels from Mississippi. Also, hit that subscribe button. Like and share with anyone else who'd be interested in Mississippi sports, high school football. I'm your host, Trellis Williams, alongside the one and only Blake Levine. We will see you on Monday. We out.